Hello, welcome to Japanese Craft Beer Reviews. If you're looking for a craft beer review today, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to review a new beer from one of the Japanese major beer companies, and that one is Asahi. And Asahi is actually, I think from this year, they're the largest brewing company in terms of sales in Japan. Last year, I believe Kirin passed them. But generally, Asahi is the number one brewery in terms of size in Japan. And they're most famous for their Asahi Super Dry, which used to be and may still be the best-selling beer in Japan. And for example, similar to something like Budweiser in the US. And recently they have relaunched a new Super Dry for the first time in 35 years or so since they started. They fiddled with the recipe, and as far as I can tell, it really wasn't much of a change for the regular Asahi Super Dry. The change that I read about primarily was some late hopping, which I assume is dry hopping. So not really much of a change in ingredients or anything like that, but an additional late hopping stage for it. But the beer for today is this one. It is called Asahi Super Dry Dry Crystal, and it is a pale lager, international premium. It was released yesterday, October 11th, and I picked up a can a couple of days ago. It actually came out in the stores before the release date. And this is slightly different. It's a 3.5% by volume, alcohol by volume beer. Pale lager, international premium, which is it's classified on rate beer. And it's a low, in other words, a low alcohol version of the regular Asahi Super Dry. Why? Well, I don't know, except that low and no alcohol beers are the fastest growing segment of the market, and I assume Asahi has caught on to that. Younger Japanese are not drinking as much as their elders do, and they are drinking a lot less non-alcohol and low alcohol beers. So this is one, if you could basically, it's not quite, but almost half the alcohol of a regular beer. And so what's different about this? They use Polaris hops, which are a German variety, which was developed about 11 years ago. And they also, apparently they claim they have a higher attenuation rate for this beer. Which means they fermented out more of the sugars. And I don't, it's kind of hard to understand because, Asahi Super Dry is probably completely, almost completely attenuated. It has very, very little flavor. In any case, this is similar beer to Asahi Super Dry in the sense it has rice, corn, and starch added, those three adjuncts, which they put into most of their beers. The can is slightly different. This is white, and the regular Asahi Super Dry, of course, is silver, and it also has a red pull tab on top. So you may confuse it in the store, but if you get up close, you can see it's white and it has a red pull tab. And another difference for this, according to their I'll put up a link to the chart that they used, they put on their website, which shows it has a kind of, it reaches a peak of flavor faster than the regular Super Dry. So it kind of peaks and then goes down quickly, fades out into zero almost. And again, that's kind of hard for me to understand because Asahi Super Dry really does peak very quickly. In fact, it doesn't even peak, but it's designed to have very little flavor and to be crisp and cool and refreshing, and that's it. So, well, let's give this a try, shall we? 3.5% version of Super Dry with, I guess, a slightly different hop and a higher attenuation rate. Okay. It is perfectly crystal clear, and it has a nice fat head of foam. That's probably from my pour. I would say a finger and a half of white foam, kind of spongy, sudsy. Ooh. Carbonation, very, very little that I can see, maybe less, not visible. Okay, this smells like super dry. Has a kind of thin, grassy sort of nose, almost a little stinky. Wow, there's not a lot here. Let's see where the peak is. So, down. So there's just a little tiny bit of flavor, kind of grainy, not bready, but grain basically. Rather thin body, not watery, but thin. And not a lot really going on in flavor. I like this better than regular super dry. Hard to tell. This has just a modicum of grainy flavor. The Polaris hops. Polaris is kind of a high alpha hop. I'm not getting it here. Of course, it depends on how much they use of it, you know. And they don't specify whether they use the second edition late hopping in this one. In regular super dry, yes, but this one I'm not sure. Well, give it a try. You tell me what you think, okay? I don't think I will buy this again, but it's drinkable. And maybe it's slightly less offensive than regular super dry. Super dry is maybe like Budweiser is the whipping boy for bad corporate beer here in Japan, and it's not that terrible, but it's just not that good. Basically similar, maybe better than Budweiser, but kind of a similar sort of thing. But this one is Asahi Super Dry Crystal, 3.5%. Give it a go. It's in the stores now. It's everywhere. You can find it in Japan. Not sure if this will be exported to other countries or not. I hope not. Anyway, that's it for today. Please do take care. Bye-bye.